Tamgudo Jeja Jerezondo, Jenjamaza Duja Ponjamba, Surja Lumbo Davra Jibega, Jaja Jabdongo Jans, Dorjin Janjan Delo Naroda, Marbama La Juja Gambo Ba, Pamodra Jawan Dogongba, Kajula Manam Jeda, Joje, Danandana, Seratam Jeda, Lama Lava Jesus. Lozon yun den yam zong a la wan den de don jen de ba ge le zo da ge lo ju zon de wa zhen ja la do zo ju lam don de wa zhen ja la do zo lan zhu wa zhe wa zhen ja la do zo zhu wa yi xi zhen ja wa zhen ja la do zo nang ge den jen de wan jong ga ba me ba je ba me ba da me ba wa me ba zhuo me ba Tade dome dunje me drupanje je ba zoba sanje mananje tamba de la janzar de chenje zoba lama je kozon toje sonlan da ge julan pid da ge damba dan simje je donja jamban de var sanje la do so. Hello, dear Dharma brothers and sisters. Today we are going to teaching and listening through third part of the way of the Bodhisattva by Shantideva. Okay. As well, you know, generate bodhicitta for the sake of all mother sentient beings. And then listen carefully. I try to explain carefully. Today, the verses are 90 and 90. We start from 90 and 91. Veneration, praise, and fame serve not to increase merit or my span of life, bestowing neither health nor strength, and nothing for body is. Actually, people who have titles, wealth, knowledge, skills, and power, they are involved with the outwardly concerns. But of course, majority of us also get caught in the outwardly concerns. So her Shantideva says, the outwardly concerns do not bring us long life and healthy, strong body. If we think carefully, the pursuit of outwardly concerns bring us many involvement. For instance, through going after the outwardly concerns, many people lose their integrity, value, relationships, and so on. In brief, before your mind is filled to the brim with outwardly concerns, you must have the patience to build the wall that prevents them from entering your mind. If you think the outwardly concerns help your mind be happy, this is not the case. If it were, they would bring as much happiness as occur and occurs. Next are verses number 92 to 93. First I read them. I lose my life, my wealth, I squander all for reputation's sake. What use are words, and whom will they delight? When I am dead and in my grave. Reading this verse reminds me of some people saying, people work hard to save money for their health, but end up spending it in the hospital. I think this is a very similarly. And also, the second verse tells us very clearly and with an example, its meaning. It is very easy to. It is very easy to understand. So I want to explain more. However, if we have a higher realization, then we can see all samsaric activities as child's play. Next are verses 94 and 95. Short-lived sound, devoid of intellect, can never in itself intend to praise me. I say that it's the joy that others take in me. It's this that is the cause of my delight. And 95. But what is it to me if others take delight? If someone else, or even in myself, their pleasures, theirs and theirs alone, no part of it is felt by me. Here, I will give you an example. If your best friend or your family is happy, when you notice that you are happy too. Similarly, everyone's happiness is cause of your happiness. Because you always pray, may all mother sentient beings have happiness and cause happiness. So if it happens as you prayed, if you are still unhappy because of others' happiness, then you are crazy. But this does not mean you are insane. I mean your afflictive emotions have taken over. Did I explain about 95, 94 or 95? I already explained 96. Right, okay. 94 and 95 I read, right? I have, Actually, good sounds and bad sounds. All of these sounds themselves are mindless. No thought of praising or putting down occurs. All sounds are like echoes, but our mind labels them, and then our thoughts of attachment and aversion begin. But here, one thing to keep in mind, which is if somebody praises you, of course, don't become attached to them, but accept that praise rejoicingly. This is a method of practicing bodhicitta. If somebody criticizes you, then first you remind yourself that sound has no mind. But you examine yourself to see if you have that fault. If you do, then you think that this sound is advancing you to improve yourself. If you think, okay, I can be patient and hear this sound like in echo. I'm not angry with these sounds, but I'm angry with the person who made that sound. Then instead of being angry, give compassion to that person, because they have lost their freedom. And speaking from begin afflicted. This compassion that you give them makes you compassion Buddha. Then I read, okay. 96. Next is verse 96. If I am happy at the joy of those who take delight, then everyone should be a source of joy to me. When people take delight in others, why am I not happy at their pleasure? Actually, I already explained on that. But here I will give you an example. If your best friend or family is happy when you notice that you are happy too. Similarly, everyone's happiness is cause of your happiness. Because you always pray, may all mother sentient beings have happiness and cause happiness. So if it happens as you prayed, if you are still unhappy because of others' happiness, then it's a little bit crazy. But crazy, it does not mean you are insane. Your afflictive emotions have taken over. So we should be mindful. And then verse 97. The satisfaction that is mine from thinking I'm being praised is unacceptable to common sense, and nothing but the intellect of a silly child. Actually, when people praise you, it's very good. We need to praise each other because this contributes to harmonious relationship. So it is a very important thing in our society. But here Shantideva's advice lead us through the middle way. If we are still in the situation where if someone presses someone presses us, we become very happy, and then next if someone criticizes, we become very upset. Then we have to go through middle way and not get arrogant with praise or bothered by criticism. In short, people who praise you, these people are very good people. And what they do is excellent. Whether you have that quality or not, their seeing good qualities in you is a sign of their pure perception. But from your side, don't have pride when they praise you. Then next verse, 98. Praise and compliments distract me. Soften my revulsion with samsara. I start to envy others their good qualities, and thus all excellent is ruined. 98. This verse is a very technical antidote to pride. We have main afflictive emotions. We have 5 main afflictive emotions, and also we have 5 antidotes to them. If you are a great meditator, then you will easily figure out what antidote to use when all kinds of afflictions arise. In ancient time, great practitioners run away when people praise them. In this time, we cannot do like that. But after people praise you, first you must rejoice in it. And then you look at your mind, is there any pride arising or not? When you have arrogance or pride, then your jealous arises easily. Next is verse 99. Those who stay close by me, then to damage my good name and cut me down to seeds, are surely there protecting me from falling into realms of grief. Criticism is just mindless words, but still it is very sharp and effective. When you are criticized, first you be compassionate to those who are criticizing. Perhaps you don't have those faults. Perhaps you have those faults. Either way, your responsibility is to be compassionate. To be compassionate. This is the easiest practice in that moment. And then slowly you should think like this: oh, these people are really my spiritual masters, because they closed the doors of the lower realms for me. I'm practicing now for liberation from lower realms. So those people help me to go forward on the Buddha's stage. Next is verse 100 to 3. For I am one who strive for freedom. I must not be caught by wealth and honors. How could I be angry with the ones who work to free me from my fetters? 101. They, like Buddha's very blessing, bar my way, determined as I am to plunge myself headlong in sorrow. How can I be angry with them? 102. I should not be irritated, saying they are obstacles to my good deeds. For is not patience the supreme austerity? And should I not abide by this? 103. And if I fail to practice patience, hindered by my own shortcomings, I myself create impediments to merit's cause, yet so close at hand. Actually, in this teaching, it says, if there is no object of patience, then how can we practice patience? So someone who distracts you from your practice of generosity or any other practice, it seems that they really destroy your merit. But if you use your spiritual wisdom, they are the condition for accumulating great merit, and they help you to increase your practice quickly. For example, somebody makes you very angry. Right away, if you can be patient, it has a great result. But it is very difficult to do. So here, Shantideva shows us many methods. Usually, we supplicate the Buddhas to please close the doors to the lower realms. But when someone helps us to close the doors of lower realms, as a blessing of the Buddhas, without over supplicating, isn't that wonderful? So we should think like that and then be patient. If you cannot think about the kindness of those who critique you, and you are blind to your faults, these are very serious obstacles to patience. In short, it is like you erase your bid for penance. There is an English expression which says it is like beating your head against the wall. And the 37 practice of Bodhisattva's way of life, it says, for Bodhisattvas who desire a wealth of virtue, all harm is like a precious treasure. Therefore, without hostility, be patient with everyone. This is the way of Bodhisattva. The reality is our detractors are the object of our practice. For example, if we are angry with someone and we practice patience towards them, that patience allow us to receive merit. And patience is also related to cause and effect. If we do not accumulate the cause, then the effects are like stars in the daytime. Next, verse 105. Okay. Okay. The beggars who arrive at proper times are not in obstacles to generosity. We cannot say that those who give the vows and hindrances to ordination. When we are ready to be generous, if someone beggars come along, then we happily practice generosity towards them. They are not an obstacle to generosity. Similarly, when we are in situation of anger, we should practice patience happily. Also, when we get sick, we should be patient with the pain. If we accomplish that, then no kind of suffering will affect us. If before you practice this, you think, oh, this is very difficult, then you are right. It is difficult. If you try to do it, I cannot guarantee that your suffering will be purified completely. But certainly, if you have a great suffering, this way of thinking will reduce it. If you have small sufferings, then it will purify them completely. Next is verse 106 to 107. The beggars in this world are numerous. Excellents are comparatively few. For if I do no harm to others, others do no injury to me. 107. So, like a treasure found at home that I have gained without fatigue, my enemies are helpers in my Bodhisattva work, and therefore they should be a joy to me. Actually, there are many beggars. Right? Many beggars. So the practice of generosity is quite easy. But people who do injure others are more rare. So when somebody makes you angry, you should think, oh, this is like a precious treasure. I cannot find it often, especially since I did not try to get it, but this come to me. Perhaps this is my great karmic result. Perhaps this is Buddha's blessings, or perhaps Yidam deity's siddhis. So I must take advantage of the opportunity in front of me. Thinking in this way, practice patience. If you can think along this lens, then it will be impossible for you to not be patient. How skilled a Bodhisattva was Shantideva. It is as if you are dry leather, and he poured oil over you. If you don't understand the meaning of this, I will explain. In Tibet, there is kind of leather. Today's teaching is about leather. This made by rubbing oil into it. Listen carefully, okay? Listen carefully. I will teach how you make leather. Flexible leather. First, the leather is bathed, right? Bathed, B-A-T-H-E-D, bathed in warm water for more than few days. So then, fur can be easily removed. Fur can be easily removed. Then with a sharp stone, not knife, stone, they remove the outer layer of skin and leave it out in the sun. Next, they pour the oil over the leather and work the oil deeply into the leather. Then two people sit with their feet pressing against each other, holding the corners of the leather in their hands. They stretch leather in the all directions by pulling back. After this, the leather becomes very flexible. As flexible as cloth and very thin. This leather is used to store very fine medicinal powders, which are like zampa, if you have ever seen zampa. It is stored safely inside this leather, which mouse, urine, or other liquid cannot penetrate, and neither can bugs. The name of the medicine is written on the leather, but the ink does not go inside to mixed with medicine. Actually, I bring this example for how to be patient. But at this moment, in my mind, it just appear my mom, my mother, because I see this what my mother and her friends or their works. But you can appear patient through this story. In brief, the leather has to go through many things in order to become flexible, but once this is achieved, it never goes back to being dry. Similarly, the process of practicing patience is so long and challenging, but once you learn how to do it, you will never go back. Okay. Next is verse 108. Since I have grown in patience, thanks to them is first fruits I should give. For of my patience, they have been the cause. Through this patience, we can see the difference between our minds and the mind of great Bodhisattvas. Because right now we think that being patient is hard. Then being patient with one's enemy is harder. And then after being patient with one's enemy, dedicating the merit to that enemy is hardest. Yet for great Bodhisattvas, these practices are easier and exist. So we understand how different between us, right? Between the Bodhisattvas and us. Between. Then next, 109. And if I say my foes should not be honored, since they did not mean to stimulate stimulate my patience? Why do I revere the sacred Dharma? Cause indeed of my attainment. Well, sorry. Did I read two together? 108, right? 109. I made mistakes. 108. Oh, we already explained 109. I'm ready. 109 to 110. So that's where. No, not 110. 110. 110. These enemies conspired to harm me. I protest, and therefore should receive no honors. But had they worked to help me like a doctor, how could I brought forth patience? It is very possible to think as this verse say, but if I ask you, do you need happiness? Your yes will appear unobstructedly. Then if I ask you, would you like to be patient? Your answer will be, it is very difficult. So this is a paradox. Be patient is very difficult, but we need happiness. It's really like a paradox, but how to say? We can. What is the opposite of paradox? Yeah, I think I'm in the. Right now, I say it is. This is a paradox, right? Yeah, but then, if we think, oh, be patient is easy, then we need happiness. Then this is not paradox. What we need, we can do this. Okay, then 111. Thanks to those whose minds are full of malice, I engender passions in myself. They therefore are the cause of my passions. Fight for veneration like the Dharma. If in our minds compassion and bodhicitta for others has no arising, still we have to practice patience because we need to maintain a peaceful mind for ourselves. This patience comes from the cause, which is irritating people and sufferings. Actually, we love our friends because we think our friends helps us in different ways. This thinking is very important. We have to maintain this way of thinking, but don't forget the irritating people also help us to become greatly patient. Okay, I have short story, but it was not enough time, so I will stop to share that about that. But then suddenly I remember, other time is flying, so my mind become monkey mind. 112. 12 to 13. And so the mighty sage has spoken of the field of beings, as well as of the field of conquerors. Many who brought happiness to beings have passed beyond attaining to perfection. 113. Thus the state of Buddhahood depends on beings and on Buddhas equally. What kind of practice is it then that honors only Buddhas but not beings? We respect, prostrate, praise, and have faith towards the Buddhas, because we know the Buddhas are filled of accumulating virtues and merit. But we think mother thinking beings are not the field of accumulation. But this is a misunderstanding, because all the Buddha become Buddhas through practicing with mother sentient beings. What will happen last Buddha? I say all Buddhas become enlightened through practice with mother sentient beings. The last Buddha, you think, meditate with that. One time I will explain. For instance, when you practice Dharma, you must practice 6 perfection, whether lay practitioner or a monastic practitioner. Among the 6 perfections, the practice of generosity is in relation to mother sentient beings. Likewise, all perfections are in relation to others. We use in different names like offering and generosity, but same. Next is verse 114. Not in qualities of their minds, but in the fruits they give are they alike. In beings, through such excellence resides. And therefore beings and Buddhas are the same. This is a great method for being patient, but not only for being patient. Always keeping a mind of gratitude. A mind of gratitude will be of benefit when we feel lonely. We can think we have many who help. And also we can generate bodhicitta and compassion easily towards mother sentient beings when we have gratitude. In brief, some of these methods help us to be patient for a little while. Some of these methods will bring us benefit for entire life. So try to memorize each one that you like and use it when you are ready. I mean this verse. Each and every verses are methods, right? So if you memorize one verse, then it is like a medicine. Next are verses 115 through 118. offering made to those with loving minds reveal the imminence of living beings, merit that occurs of living beings. Merit that occurs from faith in Buddha shows in turn the Buddha's imminence. Today my eyes see different lens. It's like a magician. Appears a different thing. Perhaps suddenly without mother sentient beings, then we don't have are meant to generate bodhicitta, compassion, and patience. If there are no Buddhas, then there is no way to accumulate the merit of faith towards them. But for becoming a Buddha, we need all of these: compassion, love, patience, and faith. So both Buddhas and mother sentient beings necessary for our spiritual practice. If you think because the Buddhas have great qualities, offering to them is of much greater benefit than giving to sentient beings. When you offer to the Buddha, maybe two things in your mind. I guess, I'm not sure. Perhaps you are trying to please the Buddha. Perhaps you are trying to gathering merit from yourself. If you were to offer a mountain of gold to the Buddha or help a single mother sentient being, the Buddha would be more pleased by your helping one sentient being and in pleasing the Buddha. This way you accumulate great merit. So you can catch two birds with one hand. Have you ever done that? Okay, we try. But the camera is special, right? Camera took 100 birds, took picture and the 100 birds. Oh, nights is more. Okay, the Buddha is like a light, and mother sentient beings are like the light switch, right? Switch. Whenever you want to use the light, you need to turn the switch. Just like that, whoever you remember the Buddha or Yidam deities, you need to practice with the mother sentient beings. That means practice bodhicitta. Next is verse 119. The Buddhas are my true, unfailing friends. Boundless are the benefits they bring to me. How else may I repay their goodness but by making living beings happy? For example, Shakyamuni Buddha, who gave up his kingdom for mother sentient beings. He wrote 84,000 scriptures, each for mother sentient beings. He became enlightened for mother sentient beings. Additionally, he has only one wish, that is making sentient beings happy. So if we honestly have faith in him, then we should help mother sentient beings. If we cannot help them, then at least we shouldn't harm or destroy their peace and happiness. Next is verse 180 to 120 to 121. By helping beings, we repay the one who sacrificed their lives for us and plunge into the hell of unrelenting pain. Relenting pain should be therefore do great harm to me. I still strive to bring them only benefits. 121. For those who have become my lords, at times took care not even of their bodies. Why should I, a fool, behave with such a conceit? Why should I not become the slave of others? The Buddha gave up the bodies for the sake of a single life, like the hungry tiger to whom Buddha fed his body in a past life. If the Buddhas love sentient beings this much, and we who love them cannot practice in the same way, then why can we not at least be patient? At least to be practice patience, because we need to maintain. Sorry, I made a mistake. I read it back. Yeah. Oh yes. For our small matters, or for just a moment. That I understood, right? Do you? I made a little mistake there. So I mean the Buddha feed his body in a past life. If Buddha loves sentient beings this much, and we who love them cannot practice in the same way, then why can we not at least be patient for a small matter, or for just a moment? If you are serious about being patient, then sometimes using this method is helpful. Also remembering, when you are angry, the Buddha's attention is always on me. You don't want to make negative offering to the Buddha, then your anger can be helpful. Okay. Next verse 122 to 123. Buddhas are made happy by the joy of beings. They sorrow, they lament when beings suffer. By bringing joy to beings, then I please the Buddhas also. By wandering them, I would the Buddhas too. 123. Just as there is no sensual delight to please the mind of one whose body burns in fire, there is no way to please the great compassionate ones, while we ourselves are cause of another's pain. We should think this often when we help others and when we are patient with others. This is the best gift to the Buddhas. Actually, Buddhas are beyond happiness and sorrow, but we offering things to the Buddhas in order to receive blessings. So if we need to receive blessings from the Buddhas, then we should bring happiness to sentient beings. And also bring happiness to sentient beings is the best way to support the activities of Bodhisattvas. In brief, no matter what, there is no way to please the Buddhas through harming others. Harming does not always mean using weapons on others' bodies. Anger, jealousy, harsh words, these are not part of Bodhisattva's conduct. For example, harsh words are not a material weapon, but they can cut others' minds. If you cut others' mind through harsh word, this is not melodious sound in Buddha's ears. Next is verse 24. The damage I have done to beings saddens all the Buddhas in their great compassion. Therefore, all these evils I confess today, and pray that they will bear with my offense. All mother thinking beings are like Buddha's children. So as Buddhist, we don't want to harm Buddha's children. Actually, the Buddhas have no anger, so no matter what we do, they will not be angry with us. But here, saddening the Buddha means the Buddha means that our Buddha nature will not appear, but remain hiding in our anger. Our anger is compassionless and unthinking. It always creates suffering in our minds. Next is verse 25. That I might rejoice the Buddha's hearts. Henceforth I will be master of myself, the servant of the world. I shall not seek revenge, though crowds may trample on my head or kill me. Let the guardians of the world rejoice. There are many reasons to be angry. I think they all including within two categories. The first is when others make us angry, and the second is when our anger comes by itself. If you fall into the first category, then you should think about your future or next life. As I mentioned earlier, don't make decision when you are angry, because it will cause regret. If you think of the next life, then the result of anger is the hell realm. But here, just think about future or your next life when your anger arises for you. I can say it, but you cannot do it. That's why we have to practice bodhicitta, because When we practice bodhicitta, it helps broaden our minds. When our mind is broad, then we have a lot of space to think before acting in a flood of anger. For example, if you have a small room and in there you put many furniture, then maybe you can't even turn around. If you have a big room, then you can put a lot of furniture in it and still you do yoga. Next are verse 26 to 27. The great compassionate Lord consider as themselves all beings, there is no doubt of these. Those whom I perceive as beings are Buddhas in themselves. How can I not treat them with respect? 27. This very thing is pleasing in the Buddha, to the Buddha's hearts, and perfectly secures the welfare of myself. This will drive away the sorrows of the world, and therefore it will be my consistent work. Actually, Buddha completely purified grasping. There is there's no doubt they don't have any grasping, but they love very much all beings as they love themselves. This means they never see the difference between the sentient beings and themselves. So if there are no sentient beings that are separate from Buddhas, then how can we be angry with sentient beings? If we were to have patience and treat with kind respect sentient beings, or offer that same patience and kind respect to the Buddhas, they would prefer that we give it to sentient beings, because Buddhas hold mother sentient beings in their love always. Are you in his love? Yes, right? We all in Buddha's love. Next are verse 28 through 30. Imagine that the steward of a king does injury to multitudes of people. Those with clear, far-seeing eyes do not respond with violence, even if they can. 29. For stewards, after all, are not alone. They are supported by the kingly power. Therefore, I will not despise. The feeble beings tormenting me. 130. Their allies are the guardians of hell, and also the compassionate Buddhas. Therefore, living beings I will gratify as subjects might placate a wrathful king. For instance, intelligent people, they will not fight with the agent of a powerful king, because if they can overpower the agent, but they can't challenge the king. Through this example, we need to know about karmic cause and effect. If we can't do everything to sentient beings, especially animals, who we can rate, right? R-I-D, rate. R-I-D, rate. We can eat, we can use, we can sell, we can keep them without food and water. We can tie them up outside in hot weather. We can tie them up outside in cold weather. Now they will not complain to us, which means we can control them. But they are Buddha's children. They have many gardens. These gardens will be waiting for us in our next life. So when it comes to eating them or using them and so on, we try to be patient. Next is verse 31. And yet the pains of hell to be endured, through making living beings suffer, could this ever be unleashed on me by all the heir of such a king? As we said, intelligent people practice patience with agents of wrathful king, because they fear the power of the king. But now the main reason to practice patience is not only to make others happy, but because we are afraid of the suffering of hell. I think this is a very good way of practice patience. In this case, we reflect on karma while practice patient. Next are verse 132 through 134. And even if that king were pleased, enlightenment he could not give to me, for this will only be achieved by bringing happiness to beings. 133. No need to mention future Buddhahood, achieved through bringing happiness to beings. How can I not see the glory, fame, and pleasure, even in this life, will likewise come? For 134, for patience in samsara brings such things as beauty, health, and good renown. Its fruits is great longevity, the vast contentment of universal king. As this verse says, through making others happy, we will become enlightened. If we think enlightenment is only in the future or the next life, consider that making others happy will result in fame, pleasure, beauty, health, good renown, and longevity in this life. So we become universal kings through making others happy. Okay, thank you very much. And we accomplished the chapter of patience in the way of the Bodhisattva by Shantideva. I hope you all of your Dharma brothers, sisters will become Shantideva as soon as. Shanti means peace, Deva means Idam deity. So for sure, if we can be patient, 1 minute, at that moment we are Shantideva. Really. If we can be patient one day, we are one day Shantidevas. So, of course, sometimes it happens because we are still in the samsara, but the most of time, be mindful. Additionally, be patient is the benefit of oneself. So yeah, and thank you very much, you all listening this teaching, and I really rejoice. I deeply rejoice. Shantideva, who stay in the sun, the India weather is extremely hot, but still he stay outside without almost food, without clothes. But he meditate deeply, and then all of his results put in the book. And then he gave us this precious thing. So now we have golden opportunity to use this. And thank you very much, Shantideva, and thank you very much, Shantidevas. Okay, let us dedicate together, sincerely, through compassionately and bodhicitta. May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. May every being ailing with disease be freed at once from every malady. May all the sickness that afflicts the living be instantly and permanently healed. Chancho Zenjoi Rinpoche Marje Banan Jijorje Je Bai Nyan Bar Me Bar Ya Gong Ne Gong